Hello again everyone, my name is Silvana and you might have seen my earlier video where I talk about what happens exactly in our brain when we experience fear. Filmed partly on the edge of a building where I was experiencing fear myself. And you won't need to have seen that video first, but link in the description and at the end of the video. But if this is the first video you see, this is a channel where I try to overcome my own fear by challenging it as a beginning freerunner. Comfortably seeking fear to safely grow, as this channel is a combination of talking about mental health and fear, and my own growing in mind and skill as a freerunner. Today let's take a deeper dive and talk about how your body may respond when you fall into panic, and how you won't be able to learn at that point, and how small steps will help you stay within your window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is a way of visualizing what happens with us when we feel stress. Let's begin with your average day. You don't have much to think or worry about. You feel good, comfortable, not much stress at the moment. This means you're within your window of tolerance. You feel at ease, you are open, and you can go with the flow as you have flexibility in your behavior, as you can adapt to your current situation and environment. But something happens, something scary happens. You have to do something that you are afraid of. You experience high levels of stress. In this situation, you might end up outside of your window of tolerance, as you may end up in a period of either hyper or hypoarousal. In either, you may become unable to process stimuli effectively. Your prefrontal cortex region of your brain shuts down in a manner of speaking, affecting your ability to think rationally, often lead to feelings of dysregulation, emotional instability, and may cause chaotic responses or overly rigid ones. That might have been a lot of information and difficult words. Let's break it down a bit more. Hyperarousal or hypoarousal, these are on the edges of our window of tolerance. First, hyperarousal. This literally means over or excessive, too much arousal. This is one of the options of what might happen when we panic. Hyperarousal is chaos, it's your fight or flight. You might feel anger, fear, chaotic thinking. Your awareness may feel focused or narrowed. You're emotionally overwhelmed, you can feel panic, feel unsafe, racing thoughts, anxiety. Everyone is different and may experience it slightly different. Now the other side is hypoarousal, meaning below, deficient, to low arousal. This is your freezing. You turn rigid, may experience a sense of freeze, feeling heavy, numb, weak, spaced out, lack of energy, you can't think, you shut down, shame, disconnected, depression, you feel distant. Both of these cases will lead you to being unable to learn and grow as the thinking part of your brain shuts down. Most of this time, this feeling passes as you get back to normal. For most people, this is all just temporary. But sometimes this does not go away. Or it might be that someone may easily slip out of their window of tolerance because their band is just too small. This may have been caused by trauma and extreme stressful experiences. Sometimes you don't recover. If your band is too small, it's easy to cross over into hyper or hypoarousal. Stress, traumatic or otherwise negative events may have the effect of pushing a person out of their window of tolerance. The person responds to stressors, even minor ones, by shooting into hyper or hypoarousal. The band has become narrow. Any threat could push a person out of their window into their fight or flight or freeze response. If one stays out of their window for too long, it might lead to development of mental issues such as depression and anxiety. Any number of symptoms could manifest while staying from your window of tolerance. Any person frequently within a hyperarousal may develop symptoms of post-traumatic stress such as flashbacks, nightmares, or derealization. Someone often in the state of hypoarousal may dissociate, have memory issues, and experience feelings of depersonalization. When you are pushed out of your window of tolerance, there are ways to get back into your window of tolerance, ways of self-soothing, self-regulation. Most of them You have probably heard before, it might help someone to use grounding techniques, mindfulness, be aware of where you are, breathing techniques, taking a walk, taking a step back, feel your surroundings. Let's name a few more things that might help. Taking deep breaths, extend your exhale, focus on breathing. Change the channel of your thinking, focus on something else. When you start thinking of negativity, switch your thinking to other things. Release gripped hands and other muscles. Let go physical tension to help the beginning of releasing the tension in your mind. Talk to your body, describe what you're feeling. So focus on what your body is doing instead of the panic itself. Stand tall, feel the ground beneath you. Take a brief walk. Notice your feet connecting the floor. Wrap yourself up, feel a blanket around you. This one has helped me a lot to enclose myself. Look around and name the objects in your room. Call a friend you trust or text them if calling is not an option. Listen to a song you enjoy. This is just a quick and dirty list of things that might help. You may have to test out a few of these options. If you feel like you could use this, I would advise to plan ahead of time so you do not forget what your plan was. All of these have one thing in common: to distract yourself, to shift your focus away from fear, so you don't end up in a downward spiral of panic. Everyone's window of tolerance is different. As an individual, you might have a narrower or a much wider window. If someone's window is narrow, it might be difficult to stay within its borders. If it's wider, you may have a lot more ease staying calm and at a comfortable level. But it's possible to grow your window wider. You may use these exercises to learn to gain some control over your responses. It's also very important to learn to get to know your body, know where you are on the spectrum, learn where you are in that point of time, pay attention where you are when you feel yourself exiting your window. You may even write it down, take notes. Be aware of what you feel and why you feel that way. Next is to challenge your stress. Don't lock yourself up. Do put yourself out there in a safe and controlled manner. Entering hyper or hypoarousal will freeze up your thinking and you won't be able to learn. But locking yourself up and not doing anything will cause you to stagnate in your growth even more. If you want to grow and widen your window, you need to expose yourself to medium amounts of stress in a safe and controlled manner. You want to go to the proverbial 70%. Every moment you challenge your stress, you learn a bit more about how to feel comfortable with it and learn how to accept it and deal with the stress. Now we're getting closer to the main subject of this channel, as I'm taking a more intensive approach. You want to push yourself to the edge of your window while staying within it. Learn to know what you can do. This is where the freerun of this channel comes into play. I'm trying to push my own fear in a safe and controlled fashion. You don't have to turn to extreme sport, but it's about challenging that window, challenging yourself. That's how you grow. Every situation is different, but it's all the same system of fear. While challenging it, for example with freerun like me, you learn techniques to deal with your fear, learn to accept it and not be afraid of it, learn to harness it. Challenging your fear in extreme sports might not be the same as, let's say, social anxiety, but it's the same stress response. And along with learning techniques to deal with stress and learn to accept it, it could affect the system as a whole. What you choose to do and how you want to learn to deal with your stress and fear is up to you. I will also say right now, this channel and I are no replacement for therapy with a professional who has trained in this subject for years. I just want to share correct information and hopefully be a partner in your own growth wherever you are on your journey, as every human being is. Or if you want to watch me hopefully become a skilled freerunner, you're also completely fine to tag along, as hopefully I will learn to do cool shit. My comment section and mailbox are also open for you if you feel like telling your own story and what you would like to do in your own growing, as I believe every person should. If you want to hear my story and who I am, watch the opening video of this channel, Conquering Fear through Freerun. And if you have not already, subscribe and click the bell icon to catch the next video. And I'll see you next week.